Hey guys!
How's it going? I think there's a delay on Twitch. I don't see it live, so
Yeah, there is. There is a
yeah.
delay.
All right, thanks for inviting me. How's everything? Good?
Oh, thank you for accepting. So
You're welcome.
today we are here with Siamak, and he is
Yes.
an amazing artist. He's a
Thank you.
veteran. He already worked for several companies, already created a lot of content related to 3D industry, and I really hope you enjoyed this talk. So, talk a little about yourself.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm Siamak. I'm a character artist. I work in the game industry. I made YouTube videos. I haven't been active online for a while now. I think after 2 months, I didn't do anything live or YouTube videos. When you messaged me, I was like, okay, let's do it, because I was super busy.
Oh,
But yeah, I
perfect.
mean, I work in the game industry, and I'm working on a game now. I worked on Ghost of Tsushima, lead character artist. I think people know. I don't know if they watch my videos,
Yeah.
right? So, um, yeah,
Yeah, basically it's for those who are meeting you now.
yeah. Is it the first time for some of you guys, or do you know me already? I'll be surprised if people know me.
Yeah, actually I share your um
My videos.
yeah, so a lot of people know you who
That's
follow
great.
my channel.
That's
So,
great.
how many times have you working with how many time have you working with 3D? How many years
Oh, how
actually?
long you mean?
How long? Yeah.
Um, 20 years now, maybe. I started 2000 and actually not 20 years. About that, 18, 19, something like that. I was 16, 17 when I started back in Iran. And yeah, I started learning with 3D Studio Max and I moved to Zbrush. Then, yeah, it's been almost like 20 years now.
It's really a long
It's
time.
been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Like I'm starting with 3D
most of my life.
um, this year basically. I've been studying, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was a 2D artist.
Oh,
So
it is good.
yeah,
It is
but
good.
I
Makes it
decided
easier.
I decided to change my career path. And
Hmm.
since last year, I've been inviting 3D artists because this is the thing that I want to learn most, and I find it a good opportunity to learn while talking with them, to know his
Yeah.
experiences, and
Hmm.
yeah, and I'm gonna start this year working with 3D basically. I did some freelance in the past, but only this year I will have a full time with 3D, and I'm really
Oh,
excited.
you mean you're gonna get a full-time job in 3D?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
It's
basically,
actually it's the best time, honestly. Like if someone wants to do 3D art or join the game industry, I kind of feel this is the best time. I feel like the game industry is gonna grow. Right now, the market cap of the whole, like the revenue, I think it's like $300 billion per year. I think last year was 300 billion. I think it's gonna grow to double from here over the next 10 years or less. The reason I say that is because I feel like there is a recession coming, financial recession worldwide. Gonna figure out, like they're gonna be like more, how do I say, like stingy with the money. They don't want to spend money outside or anything. So maybe games would be the cheapest entertainment for people at some point. Games and movies. You buy a game and play it for a month or 2 months.
yeah.
I remember 2008 when the recession came. It was the beginning of my career. Because at the time I moved to Dubai, 2008, 2007, and it was the start of everything. But the housing market crashed. The whole, global financial recession happened. If you guys remember, I don't know if you remember. I'm not sure how old are you. But at the time, it was actually good for me because rent was became cheaper. I started making more money even though there was recession because I was in the entertainment, visual effects, commercial industry. I didn't feel the recession. Um, I actually lost my job 2 years after that, but I got another job really fast. And then after that, since then, it was fine. So I think, honestly, I think it's the best time. Like you said, you want to do 3D now.
Yeah.
Um, I was actually looking for a way to do something else beside 3D, but after doing a lot of research, I feel like now is the time. And I'm trying to expand my knowledge beyond characters. Like I started working with Unreal Engine 5 to see if I can do environment art or other part of related stuff related to games, so that I can expand. Um, yeah, I
So,
think, and now the demand is also higher. There's like a lot of studios hiring, a lot of jobs, but there isn't enough like artists or game developers out there to fill these positions. So I think the best time is now. Like if people want to join, they should just work hard and study hard and plan for the next, I don't know, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to get their first job. Because it's not going to happen fast. Like if you want to become an artist, 1 year is not enough time to
to
become a good
study.
artist to work in the
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
right?
I spent like
Um,
2 years studying, basically, before
yeah.
getting a full
So
job in 3D.
I have a students now in my mentorship that they are learning fast, really fast. A few of my students are putting so much work into what they're learning. One of them has like a really good background in oil painting and drawing. So he's actually growing really fast, and I hope like at the end of the mentorship that I'm doing with him, I hope I can help him to get a job or something. But I can see, I think a couple of years if people plan for it hard, um,
Hmm.
not just watch videos and stuff, work hard, like experiment as much as you can. Uh, practice every day. So
Yeah. And also, game industry is becoming one of the biggest of entertainment. Um,
yeah, it is already. I think game industry
yeah,
is.
it is already. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, it's going to get bigger, but here's the thing. I think it's going to grow double from here, and we'll see how it goes. It's hard to predict the future, but the last time game industry had a crash was in 1983, which almost like the market cap of the industry went from 3.5 billion, if I remember correctly, to 300 million, like almost 10 times less, 90% crash. And then 1985 when Nintendo came in, they actually changed the industry again, and industry started growing after 2 years of crash from 1983 to 85. Since 1985, we didn't have a crash in the game industry. And crash usually happens when there's like too many games, repeated games. There's basically we are seeing it some of it now, to be honest, but I don't think it's there yet. And it's going to be there when everybody starts using Unreal Engine 5, maybe. This is my opinion, basically. And then everybody makes a game, and it becomes like too saturated. If the industry becomes
Hmm.
too saturated, too many games, just random games, it would probably hurt the industry. Because if you have so many games and none of them are good, then it could cause another crash. But I think we are not close to that yet. We are just
Just
mid-cycle,
starting.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
'Cause
it will happens like Netflix. Like,
yeah, similar to Netflix. Yes,
yeah.
exactly. When the quality goes down, demand goes down, and then people lose interest until something changes. Maybe a generational change, new kids, new games. Um, I don't know. So, but we are definitely going to see a change. I feel like consoles are going to die at some point, and it's going to be only cloud gaming, which I'm not a fan of it. It's good and it's bad. Because if it's only subscription based, then it means it's gonna cost, like it's gonna be less profitable for the companies in the future. Because if you pay like $14 a month and be able to play any games you want, then the games are not gonna generate the same revenue they generated when they sold each games one by one.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of things into it, but I think we're far from that. I actually encourage my students to really push hard and get into the industry now. now,
Yeah,
like today.
and even in my country, like things are starting now. Like um, a few years ago, it was hard to find a game studio, for example, and the indie studios has a lot of struggle
Yeah.
releasing the games. So
Hmm.
it's changing. Nowadays, I can see a lot of new studios, a
Hmm.
lot of outsourcing studios in Brazil as well, because it isn't something usual.
Yeah.
Uh, just nowadays, I can think of three who does outsourcing for big studios. For example, there is one. The name is Kaku, I think,
Hmm.
and they have worked for. I'm trying to remember the name of the game, but it's a several games that is a lot of. It's not usual for Brazilian people to work
Hmm.
on in Brazil. So this is something that is changing, and I can see that because of my country, basically.
Yeah, it's changing it slowly. So um, it's actually becoming more of a global thing, the game industry,
Yeah,
because you can outsource a lot of work, and I don't think it's gonna like at some point I was like maybe it's gonna hurt artists, but what when I'm seeing demand because there's like more studios, more games, um, I think there will be more demands for art for game developers, and it's harder now to make games. Basically, it takes a lot of time, and let's say a character used to be I don't know like 5, 6 years ago, 8 years ago was easier to make a character for games, and now it's actually harder. You need to make more high resolution characters. You need to have someone to do the hair. You need to have someone to texture because the models are becoming more complicated. The art is becoming more realistic. It takes more time, so it requires more budget and more people. So there is more demand. Um, yeah. So and the other good thing actually about the industry is um, working from home. I'm working from home now for the past three
yeah,
years.
yeah.
I
I
don't
will
need to be
be
in an office
working
anymore.
from home. Yeah,
I mean, it's the best thing. Think about it, like, because I do other things. I do some woodworking. I play piano. I do gardening for my backyard and all that. Sometimes I see how hard it is when you do woodworking. As an example, you have to spend so much money to buy lumber, and then you have to have the machines. It's expensive, and then you have to work really hard to just make something simple. But in CG, you just buy the software and the machine. I mean, how much is it going to cost you? $30,000 for a computer. The best one, maybe 5,000. It's a lot for a lot of people, but
yeah,
you don't
it
have to
is.
start with that. You can start with $2,000, or less. And then you have unlimited material. You don't need to buy lumber. You don't need to buy wood.
Yeah,
You can just, yeah, someone says working in pajamas. That's another thing.
yeah,
And it's actually really awesome. Like last year I was questioning. I was like, should I continue working in this industry? Is this what I want to do forever? I'm getting older, and do I want to still make games? Maybe I should do something more, I don't know, more serious, like more grown up or whatever. You start questioning your things when you get older. And then I look at the way I work. It's good and bad because I'm just sitting here all the time and working. That's why I do other things like woodworking or, doing I mean, gardening for myself and other activities because I want to be active, right? Sitting in front of the computer is not good all the time, but it's actually easy. It's much easier than farming, for example. Like,
yeah. I
yeah.
can imagine it. So basically, you start the Edgeloop as a way of stop working in the industry and became
No,
a
I still work in the industry. No one knows where. I'm not gonna say it because I just want to keep it private until the game comes out.
oh,
But
that's
that's like, yeah. So I started doing YouTube videos. It was for fun, and last year I got busier, and then I couldn't continue. I tried. This year I did a bunch of videos, but then I felt like maybe I should just focus on what I'm doing first, and then come back and do more videos later. And then because of During that, I started teaching, Edgeloop, teaching character art and game development to new artists, and that's how I started that. It was just as a result of making videos and doing whatever I can to help people.
Yeah.
But it actually brought so many things for me. It was a great thing. I still want to do it. It's just I don't have time. Like I can't sit here and edit videos all the time, or uh, you know,
Have
it
you think
requires a lot of
about doing streams? It's because the streaming is easier.
streaming is easier. Yeah, I did a streaming on YouTube, but I think when lockdown ended, people are busier, so it's hard to get people to join. You know, but I actually think streaming is easier. I did a couple of streaming with Raf, as you talked about it on my channel, and with a couple of other artists. I want to do more. Maybe in the next couple of months. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think in the
and
next 3 months I won't be as active, but I think after that might be around August or September. I'll come
probably
back to YouTube
using,
again.
yeah, probably using Twitch because people can interact more. I think Twitch for stream is better than YouTube because of the
Maybe,
interaction part. For
yeah.
example, there's a lot of functions that you can set up on Twitch for people interact with your stream basically.
Mm,
So it makes the Twitch more people don't live so easy. Like they enjoy like interacting with
mm.
you and things like that. It's different
Maybe,
from YouTube. That's what I feel trying out the two of them.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have followers on YouTube. I actually don't. I try to, share some stuff on Instagram and stuff, but then to me, it's better to focus on one platform. So if I do anything, I would do it on YouTube because I'm used to it. But yeah, maybe I should have started Twitch. I don't know. I have the
So
account, but I never used it. So
yeah, watch some streams, see how it works, and try out for a month. I
yep.
did that. Like I tried for a month and then I enjoy it and then I've been doing stream.
Yeah, it's fun. It's streaming is fun. Honestly, I wanted to expand the podcast and interview more people from different industries, not just games. But then again, it comes down to what do I want to do. So um, maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll do that in the future. Right now, I'm focused more on what I'm doing, teaching, helping my students to get something, and also finishing the game that I'm working on, and a couple of other plans. But maybe after 3 months, I'll see how it goes. I might actually do podcasts again.
So
Yeah, it's good.
talking about your career,
Mm.
what you recommend for people who are starting right now? Where should then uh, start working, software, things like that that you think it's important right now?
Software doesn't matter. They can use anything they want. Okay, that's fine. Starting is that's a deep question because it takes time if I want to explain everything. But I think the mistake people do is when they start learning something, they're focusing on finishing a portfolio piece. It could be good, it could be bad, but I think it's better to first start understanding the fundamental of art and really understanding how you should make art first. Or like when you work on a character, there's like so many pieces on a character um, that you can't just learn everything at once. You want to design an armor, you want to learn how to do hard surface modeling, anatomy, facial expression, texturing, so many things. So it takes time to learn all the possibilities and all the techniques and the skill set. So I think people should understand that it's not a 6 months or a year job. It's going to take time. It's going to take many years because the more you do, the more there is to learn. And I'm learning environment art as an example, right? So I'm just trying to expand my knowledge on game making, and not just environment art. I'm trying to learn other things about the whole process of making a game. Maybe I'll not do programming because I don't know anything about programming. But if I want to do it, I can. It's just a matter of time. I can learn how to do it. I think the most important thing
Do you want to create your own game?
I want. I don't know if it's gonna be my own game. For now, I just want to like learn. We'll see. What I learned over time is, look. I mean, if I say I want to make my own game, I'm gonna be disappointed because I can't make my own game right now. I don't have the budget. I can't do it all alone. But I'm working with a couple of friends to just have fun together. We'll see how it goes. But for now, the plan is to have fun, to make something and enjoy the time and learn something. And I say that because I enjoy the process. Like I was trying to make a scene, just a landscape in Unreal Engine, and there's like so many things I wanted to be like, okay, maybe I should learn Unreal Engine, World Machine. So I'm like, what do I want? I want this. Okay, let's see how World Machine works. I make a test and then put it in, export the test when I'm happy with the World Machine, and I'm not expecting to do the best thing. I just make something, put it on Unreal, and then build on top of it slowly over time. Uh, Learn how to do material setup. Node-based materials in Unreal Engine. How to do, you know, a procedural map for landscape as an example. Then the next step is how do I make the foliage? How do I troubleshoot it? What are the steps I need to take to make it really optimized and the increase the quality? Then after that, I'm gonna be like, okay, so what's lighting? How do I make the lighting work? So there's like a lot of things to learn, but I try to study each part. I'm not thinking about I'm making an environment. Let me make an environment and I'm gonna present it in my portfolio because this is gonna take a long time. Maybe in the next 2 years, maybe I'll do something. But the plan I have is I just want to learn how it's done. Until I learn how it's done, I can't do it. So, or a good example is music. When I started learning piano, I'm not playing as much anymore. Actually, I'm not playing anything at all. Like for the past 4 months, I didn't touch my piano because I'm busy, and I'm guilty. Like I want to do it. It's fun. But I started music in when I was 32. I had no idea how music is made or anything about music. So I started learning about music theory, and I started understanding. Okay, this is how chord progression works. These are the scales. These are the keys that you can play in. What are how the music rhythm works, and so on. How to read sheet music and all that. So um, it takes time to develop. You just have to understand that with the first try, you're not gonna get good at it. You
Yeah.
have to like spend time, repeat, and the goal should be like every day to learn something, every day to be more educated than you were yesterday. So if you spend 4 hours today to learn something, if you learn something and if you compare it to yesterday and you're better, that's what matters because it's going to accumulate over time. The problem is when you start new, the expectation is you want to go a long way in a short time. People are looking at people like Raphael Grassity or famous professional artists, and they see like these guys are doing amazing art, but they're not looking at what they went through to get there.
Yeah.
The time that they went through, 18 years of constantly working,
Yeah.
and you only can do that if you are happy with what you do, if you enjoy what you're doing. Like if you don't enjoy sculpting, it's going to be torture. But so the thing is, you have to be focused on the moment. Like if I'm making a character now, if I want to design something new, I need to focus on the moment and just do what the best I can do in this moment. And then all of these moments accumulates, and over time you will be better and better and better. And what people are missing is uh, they don't feel that they're growing because you don't see your growth. It's like if you have a child or if you were a child, if you ask your parents, they'll tell you they couldn't see that you're growing, right? But if you're 1 years old and then 3 years later, you know, someone comes and sees you again after 3 years, they can see that you have grown like bigger, right? You're 4 years old now, right? They see the difference.
Yeah, there's
But
something
because
that
you're,
this is something that I was thinking about these days. For example, a lot of people uses the other stuff that they have to do to not study 3D or art, basically. Like they spend the full day like working with another thing, and they spend only the weekend to study art because they find art is some kind of obligation. So if they uh, go home and then they are like tired, they don't want to make art because of that. But you can't see art like that. You need to see it like it's something relaxed that make you feel comfortable. Like for example, if you are tired, you can go home and then start something just to relax. Like change this kind of mindset of um,
Yeah, it's not a chore. It should be a fun thing to do.
yeah,
Um, because art is a creative thing, your mind should be fresh to be able to stimulate like creativity.
yeah.
And if you're tired, maybe you're not as creative. I think the best time to sometimes I'm actually creative late at night, depends if I have enough energy.
I am the
A lot
same.
of time I actually came up with ideas late at night.
I'm trying
But
to change
sometimes,
this because it's not
yeah,
healthy.
it's not. No, it's not. But you know what I learned over time when I sleep well, 8 hours a day, every night, 8 hours, and then when I wake up, like let's say 6:30, 7 a.m., whatever. In the morning, I actually feel better. I just take my time, eat breakfast, get ready, and then sit and do the work. I realized that I can do more in a basically short time. If you're tired, it's hard to do more. But
Yeah,
sometimes I have to, like the other night, 3 nights, 2 nights ago, or was it Friday night? I think Friday or Thursday. I don't remember. I wanted to learn how to do a material for Unreal Engine landscape for a landscape and remove the tiling. Because when you do landscape in Unreal Engine, you have to use procedural map, and it means you have to tile the map many many times. I wish I had it open now. I could share it, but so I had to figure out a way how do I fix this? How do I make this tile go away? And I built something. I started changing slowly, like adjusting, but I wasn't expecting myself to solve the problem at that night. But then I went forward. An hour later, I'm like, okay, I learned this. Oh, this works. I tried a couple of things, and then because of trying many many times in the same night, I found a solution. It's not the best solution, but I can take it from here. So I know more from about environment art now. When it comes to character, I'm just working these days. I'm trying to basically become better at designing because I know how to texture. I know how to make characters. I know how to make certain characters and stuff. I'm designing my own characters, but I still feel like I want to improve on that. But again, that's not a goal to learn it in a short time.
this is
I'm trying to figure out
something.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something interesting because a lot of people got stuck in only one thing. And I think when you learn other stuff, you can actually improve what you are best. You know, for example,
Y-
you are
Say
studying
it again because
environments.
I lost your voice for a second. Can you say it again?
Oh, for example, you are studying environments, and a lot of
Hmm.
people got stuck in only one thing. But I see benefits when you study a variety of things instead of only
Yes.
one thing. Like when you study environments, you can understand how it's gonna affect the character, for
Yeah.
example, the contrast, a lot of stuff. It's everything related, I think. You can like learn environments to improve your character, basically.
It's related to creativity. I
Yeah.
can tell you. When I learned piano, it helped me to become a better artist. It's all related to the way your brain works. So I'm not a brain scientist, but I can feel the effect of it. When I do something, I did woodworking. I learned something from that. Because of that, I'm doing the same techniques in Unreal Engine, the same steps, and it's working. So if you even learn something unrelated to CG, you're actually stimulating your brain. You're helping your brain to get better at problem solving. Figuring out how to uh, what steps are the best way, how to slowly this have organize your ways of going up, improve your work and so on. For example, one of the things I see people do when it comes to character art, they just when they're new, they make something in ZBrush, they start adding details, pores and wrinkles and things like that, stuff that doesn't matter at all. Like they spend time on things that don't matter. Like no one cares if you're good at
Doing details,
skin pores or
mold,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah, if you don't understand fundamental shapes. So problem solving, I think a character art, not just character art, anything in CG, game development, character art, environment art, it all comes down to problem solving, if that makes sense. And the best way to me is to simplify it, make it as easy as possible. Because you can solve an easy puzzle, and then put it together and make it a harder puzzle, right? If you make it a smaller chunks, it's easier to solve a problem. Like let's say you want to make a character, everybody's just jumping in and let me sculpt anatomy, add marvelous, sculpt that, add details, and finish it. But then at the end they're like, it doesn't look good. Why am I not able?
Yeah,
Why can't I do it like others? And it comes down to breaking it down to really simple forms. What is the shape of the body? If you want to make an armor, maybe that armor looks like just a cylinder. If you want to make a armor for the forearm, maybe it's just a cylinder. You just put a cylinder there and then start adding more to it. That's actually how I teach my students, and you'll be surprised how far they can go in such a short time because you break
yeah,
down things to a very simple form.
yeah,
It's so simple that even a 5-year-old it can understand how it's done. You know what I mean?
yeah, perfectly.
People like to make things complicated. That's how our brain works. But the best way to do it is to simplify it. That's my opinion. Like it works for me. It did work for me.
No,
Um,
I think it's not a matter of opinion. I think it's how it works in general.
I think that's how it works. Yes,
Yeah.
because I do the same thing when it comes down to woodworking. When I wanted to learn music, piano, I did the same thing. I actually tried to take the same steps, simplify it. If I want to play hard music, I can't just jump in and learn how to play a complicated, Beethoven sonata, but I can learn how to play a small section of it, and then on top of that, I can learn how this small section, like a measure of it, is composed. Maybe I can study the chord progressions on that, what keys are used, and so on, and slowly improve. You can't just jump in and play two hands. It's the same thing with art, with character art, with environment art. You got to take one
Yes.
step at a time. And then this is going to accumulate over time. 5 years from now, you're going to wake up and you're a professional character artist or environment artist. Um, I'm actually using the same technique now, more in a more like I'm more aware of it. Let's say in 2004 when I started, 2003, 2002, I think, if I remember correctly, when I started trying to learn modeling and character art and how to make 3D modeling, box modeling at the time. I wasn't aware of this. I just wanted to make something, and then I had to do a lot of uh, repetition, mistakes. And the thing is, at the time, because I really enjoyed it, I wasn't like, oh, let me finish something, let me get good at it, because I was just enjoying it. I had fun with making anything. It didn't matter to me. I made cars, I made chairs, I made pens, I made chicken nuggets for commercials. The process of making the stuff was fun, and I was enjoying it. And then
Yeah.
slowly over time, it evolved into becoming a character artist,
Yeah.
full-time character artist.
I did the same to start studying 3D. Like most of my 2D arts I created characters and a lot of details, things like that. But for 3D I decided to start with small things, doing some cartoonish
Mhm.
characters, things that is simple to learn.
Yeah.
Because I needed to learn the software as well, so I wasn't focusing in create
Mhm.
already a full body character with all the details. So it helped me a lot, and actually something that because I got this job that I mentioned,
Mhm.
they enjoyed my journalist background. You mentioned that you like to learn several things that I related to because it's something that I was actually insecure in the past because
Mhm.
I'm so journalist. Like not only 2D, but I already try to learn environments. I know how to create UIs, for example. Most of my
Hmm.
experience in a previous company that I worked at was with UI design. So basically, when you say that, I feel the same. For example, I think that all of this stuff that I learned helped me to improve my art in general.
I mean, it's not just that. It helps your brain to, you get smarter, I would say. The more you learn, the more you know, the more you can do. There's a saying, it says, you know, man of a man of all trade, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. Nobody's talking about the second part of it, but that's true. Like if you know more, it's better. Why not? Why do you want to do one thing? When it comes to working for a company or working on a game project, it's better to be focused on one section, character art, which means sculpting, hard surface modeling for armors, or designing characters, or low res texturing, problem solving, because it's a lot of work, when you work for production. Otherwise, it's going to take forever to finish a game. But I mean, for yourself, it's better to learn more. The way I do it is this. I know how to make characters now. I can satisfy that part of my life. I enjoy whatever I'm making, teaching and stuff for games. I can make anything that they give me basically. Uh, so I'm basically on autopilot on the character side. I don't think about modeling. When I model, I just do it. I don't feel like, oh, how do I make this? This is complicated. It's gone. Maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I was like that, but not anymore because I did it so many times. It's just part of me. It's second nature, like walking or eating food. So because I'm already on a good level on that, now I'm focused more on other things. How do I make environments? How do I that's why I started YouTube. Maybe I should learn how to do public speaking. Maybe I should learn how to interview people. That's going to
Yeah,
help me better,
I'm
and
at
help me
that
to
point.
understand people better,
Yeah,
right? Or
improving
how
my
do
communication skills because
yes,
when I was
the other thing
younger,
is
yeah, I was really shy. So I needed this.
yeah, it's good. It's actually good. The other thing is the reason I started doing music because I always wanted to understand how music is made. And I understood that part. And I'm not going to become a concert pianist. Maybe I will start again in a couple of months again to practice because I really want to learn and push it to the next. I was actually playing some really good music. I was getting to a good level. I was even making my own music. Pandemic hit. I stopped. I couldn't go to my teacher because he was old, and well, it was kind of risky for him, obviously, to see people during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of faded away. I started making videos and stuff, but I want to get back to it again. Or whatever I did was because I was curious. I want to do something that I enjoy. It's not just about making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And when it comes to
perfect.
making money, I actually realized this over time. When you get good at what you do, really like push it to the next level, you'll earn money. You're gonna get good at money too. It's just like you have to.
It's like money is consequence of
Yeah,
your,
money is the consequence of like
yeah,
what you do. So I was
yeah.
trying to make something for my class. This is what I was showing the class. How to design a character from scratch in ZBrush. This is all like Z modeler. But each one of these parts are separate problems. Each one of these sections are separate design issues or design parts of its modeling problems that I had to fix. So basically, you gotta take it one step at a time. Or I want to show you some of my students' work if you want to see it. One. Hope they don't mind if I share something. This is a guy that he's doing samurai. I'm just loading it now.
There's a question while
Yeah.
opening. I will read for you.
Yeah.
Have
Sure.
some exchange in games artists with VFX artists or two different worlds?
What's that say again?
Uh, oh my God, what happened? Just a
Where's the
moment.
question?
The question is, have some exchange in game artists with films VFX artists or Oh, I understand. I think he write it wrong. Basically, he is asking if there's a difference between VFX for games or VFX for movies.
Oh, between games or movies. Actually, my screen was switching, by the way. So, um, between games and movies, um, let me read the question myself because is it on the top? Let's see.
Yeah,
Oh,
Emmanuel Lears, who sent the question.
no, I mean honestly, I whatever I do in for games, I can do it for film too. So you just gotta learn how to. It's the same now, almost the same. There's like some differences, but this is actually I wanted to show you this. I'll answer that question. This is one of my students' work. He he never made anything in ZBrush before. And he's doing this now. And he's following everything I told him, and he's doing this. There's more, but I don't want to share all of them. Oh, this one, he improved so much because we are using the same technique that I was talking about to
Mm-hmm.
focus on.
Small details.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. Focus.
I watched a video from Laura.
Huh.
Yeah, she was showing a character who got her a job. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't know Marvelous at that
Mm-hmm.
time, and the job asked for Marvelous knowledge. So
Yep.
instead of they judge her based on, oh, you don't have skills at Marvelous, they judge based on the quality of the sculpture she created. So she understand how the cloth works. So basically, the Marvelous thing will gonna be easier for her to
So
learn.
this is
Yeah.
the thing. If you want to become a character artist, as I said, you gotta be a good problem solver. I don't know the answer to everything. I just figure it out on the way. I can model everything. This is my student's work, by the way. So he's doing the same. Like I'm teaching him. He's using a concept, but they're also like doing some adjustments to the concept to what he wants to do. It's all in ZBrush, in super clean work. Um, but he wasn't this way. He changed and he changed his mindset, the way he works, and he got to this point. But when it comes to getting a job in a studio, it doesn't matter if you're best at, and if you understand art and problem solving, you're going to be fine. That's what matters. I mean, baking is only a couple of solutions, like couple of good solutions to baking. Everybody can learn how to bake. Everybody can learn how to make UVs because those are technical stuff. Those are tools that you use to make them, right?
Yeah.
But the mindset you should have is the mindset of a problem solver, programmer, and yeah, that's how I actually, I make everything in ZBrush now with Z Modeler because it has all the tools that I want. Some people may not want to use it because they say it's confusing or whatever, but I think it's actually very easy to use. And but the way I use it is I just think about process. What do I want to do? What's the next step? Do I have a tool for that to do the next step?
So basically, I was asking you how usually are your process like teaching. Where do you start on your mentoring, basically?
So teaching, um, it's to me the best way to learn is to doing something. That's the only way you can learn. If you do a lot of R&D and test, it doesn't work. You just learn something and you forget it. Best way to learn is I want to make an armor. How do I make this armor? Right? Then you start making that armor. And you start slowly like using different steps. Okay, I want to extrude. This is how. Where's the extrude tool? I'm gonna extrude. I'm gonna add edge loops. Where is the tool? I mean, what tool should I use to do that? How do I use different tools in ZModeler? How do I save in ZBrush? How do I sculpt? What are these brushes? Step by step. Um, that's how I do everything. Like, I think that's the best way. You just do it, repeat it, and make many many things over time, and you get good at it. That's how I teach. I just basically, as students pick a concept idea, I help them to work on reference gathering, or if and basically I will tell them if the concept is good enough or not, or maybe they should change based on their knowledge or not. Uh, so we pick a concept, and then I take it step by step, block out, finishing the block out, proportions, things like that, and then I start adding, thickness, details, step by step. Basically from primary shapes, you know, fundamental shapes like primitive shapes, basically like breaking down the character to smallest thing like sphere, box, cylinders, things like that, and then blocking it out and then building it step by step, like from biggest shape to the smallest shape, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it isn't like software focused at all.
I mean, I just encourage them to use ZBrush so that they don't focus on other applications because that's distracting. If you want to use Maya, ZBrush, so many different softwares just to finish something, it's just too much. You don't need that.
Yeah.
That's how I started 3D. When I started, there was only Maya and Max, and they both did the same thing exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna use Maya. Now there's Maya, 3D Code, ZBrush,
Blender,
Modbox,
yeah.
3D Max, Blender. Everybody's fighting if Blender is better than ZBrush.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter any of that.
Yeah, actually, I started studying with Blender, and a lot of people, oh, you should stop studying Blender because it's not industry standard. And I was like, but
Doesn't
Blender is
matter.
so fun. Like, why I should stop studying Blender? And I kept continue studying, and then this job that I got, it's a studio of outsourcing for AAA. And they
Mhm.
use Blender. They didn't ask me about software. They basically said, "Oh, your stuff is good. It's exactly what we were looking for."
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't matter really. Like use Blender, whatever. I mean, there was like in one of my classes, one of the students, he's a friend of mine. He's helping me, and then he's using Blender. I use ZBrush. We were trying to make a pattern in ZBrush, and it was like, I'm gonna do it in Blender. Blender is faster, so he was pushing to do it in Blender, and I figured out a way to do it exactly the same thing in ZBrush. It's just different tools, but you can do it. It doesn't matter. You want to
Yeah,
use Blender, use Blender. For a sculpting, I think ZBrush is better right now. It's the best application to me for sculpting. So everybody should learn ZBrush. But I don't think if you learn, I know they say it's not industry standard. Doesn't matter. If you learn how to use Blender, as long as it can export OBJ FBX, that's all that matters. You can export it into another application.
yeah. That was my fault. Like I didn't stop learning Blender just because of that. And nowadays I've been using ZBrush as well, but
Hmm.
it's just a tool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not what matter. And it's something that people always send me messages like, "Oh, what software do you use?" And I always have to say I use Blender, but it doesn't matter. And some people start to follow me because I use Blender, and when I use ZBrush, they ask, "Oh, why are you using ZBrush? Did you stop studying Blender?"
Oh. Oh, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you want.
Yeah,
Just finish the work. Just do the work. That's
yeah.
it. That's all that matters.
There's
Honestly, when you work for games, the way I work, I actually make the high res, low res at the same time. Um, so like when I make the high res, I make it in a way that I can use it to make the low res in ZBrush. So there are techniques, different depends on the technique you're using. But for the technique that I'm using, ZBrush is the best for me. But if
yeah,
someone wants to, let's say if I work in a studio and if another artist wants to use Blender, doesn't matter. Use Blender. Use your own application, write something and use that. If it works, give me OBJ. That's
yeah,
all that the job wants.
yeah. And I love sculpting in Blender, but yeah, ZBrush is better.
The brush is
It,
better, yes,
it's
for
better.
sculpting.
And for organic modeling, there's no tool better than ZBrush. But
Yep.
for hard surface, I have a lot of add-ons on Blender, so it got Blender easier for this kind of models. basically. That's how I feel when in comparison between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
This
That makes sense.
something, yeah, this is something that I miss in ZBrush, like customization, plugins, add-ons, that in Blender you have way more options to customize your software, basically.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they don't make another ZBrush version, I'm fine with it. This one is doing the job.
Yeah.
I don't need any more tools.
Yeah, because
I'm
actually
fine.
the tools of ZBrush it's already really good, but
Yeah.
there's some things that let the workflow on Blender so easy that I miss so much when I use
Well,
ZBrush. Yeah, but it's okay.
I think I kind of feel like the next version will be better on ZBrush. I don't know why. We'll see how it goes. I think there will be more interesting modeling tools. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
speculating here. So,
yeah. There's something that, for example, do you know the Sculptember challenge?
which one?
Sculptember.
No, no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a challenge that everyone's try to model one sculpture per day during the month of September, basically.
That's too many. That's too many sculpts.
Yeah, it's sketches, basically. It don't need to
Yeah.
be something
Hmm.
real detailed. So, the first time I tried this challenge in 2020, I used only Blender. And all these sculptures, like I created skin details and also rendering, and everything looks like finished because I was using
Hmm.
Blender because of all the things that you can uh, do for rendering and things like that. So in the second year, past year, I used only ZBrush, and wasn't the same feeling because in ZBrush you can't like rendering things, and in the few in the end of the
Yeah.
month I started to like sculpting in ZBrush and then importing in Blender and rendering it because I was missing to see everything like colorful like in the first year I joined the
I don't
challenge.
render anything. I just export it into.
Oh really?
You know what? Yeah. I mean, I don't like to spend time on sc- rendering. Basically, I would rather. I actually like only like anything that is real time.
That's why you're
I like
studying
actually.
Unreal
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I want to do it in Unreal. When I see good animation, I enjoy it. I like it. Amazing renders and stuff. But when I see a um, realistic real time demo or something or game, that's more satisfactory. Like I enjoy it more. I don't want to spend time tuning your, um, render settings. I did it before. You see it in my portfolio one time or a couple of times, and I was like, "This is it. I'm not gonna touch it anymore." Yeah, so it's not it's not my fun. It's not fun for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically your study on Unreal, you are focusing more in composing the scene than rendering, like setup,
Yeah,
lighting, things like that.
I like lighting, but again, in real time. You know, when I was setting up my office here, I actually was trying to come up with a good lighting. I learned a lot about lighting because of this. And I did so many like photos with my camera with the lighting setups that I did, and I learned how light works. Because when you do it in 3D, it takes time to render. It takes time, it's just weird. In real life, you get quick result, fast, instant result.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually, I want to study Unreal. It's just because it's too many tools to learn, basically.
yes, yes, Unreal is
I'm
crazy.
struggling with that. For example, when you work as a 2D artist, it's basically Photoshop. But
Yeah,
yeah, you can solve everything on Photoshop. And when you decide to become a 3D artist, oh my God, it's so many tools to learn.
yeah. That's why you should go slow, step by step.
Yeah,
Slow, slow is the best. Slow is actually fast.
yeah,
That's what I can tell you for sure.
yeah. And I noticed that, for example, I think I'm in the final steps to have all the necessary tools to be a better character
Hmm?
artist is the Marvelous design. Uh,
Marvel's Designer is good. Yeah, I use
yeah,
Marvel's Designer for fabric.
yeah.
For yeah.
So basically, this is the final step to implement in my workflow. But
Hmm.
as we talked before, it's just a tool.
Yeah, it is just a tool, really.
Yeah. Um,
So
there is no
everybody's just
questions.
sleeping. No one is interested. Oh, there's one question.
Yeah. How many time you took to enter to the market to start and working with 3D, basically?
I mean, how? Let
How
me.
many time you took to get your first job, basically?
How long? How long it took? How long did it take for you to enter the market?
Yeah.
So, which market? That's the question.
3D.
Game industry. Which one?
First,
3D.
first, yeah, first job of 3D.
So it's actually graduate. Okay, so that's one of the things people need to think about is you can't. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe time has changed. But at my time, it was harder to find a job, so I had to start really slow. In my first job, I did something freelance, and I was really bad at it. The guy was helping me. We are still friends now after 20, I don't know, maybe 18 years. And I made $100 at the time. That was my first job of work. Then after 2 months, I got another job. I didn't have work. After a year, I got another job. Then I got better. Then I got a job getting paid monthly. Then it slowly that changed, and uh, 2007, after 3 years, 4 years, I got a job and I moved to another country. Then I worked for a company. It didn't work out. Then I changed again, worked for another company for 2 years. I lost that job. I worked for another company for 2 years. I didn't enjoy working there anymore. I changed it. It was like gradual change. Then I worked freelance. Then I did more freelance. Then I did more freelance for game cinematics. I did a freelance for a game company. I got an offer to move to a game company that got canceled because of the issue they had in the company. They didn't want to hire someone suddenly, and people know it. I don't want to say it out loud, but yeah. And then after that, I got a job. I moved to US, and I had to change again. It was slowly adjusting over time. So it's not like I got a job in the game industry after 1 year of working with 3D. You know, it took time. I had to learn, adjust, improve,
So you
and
start working with other stuff and then job.
yeah, slowly, step by step. I got jobs that I didn't get paid. Now it's different. Now I just only work with the companies that I don't know. Like I have to be 100% sure to work with company. Like if someone comes to me with a job, I have certain requests. If they don't do it, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I have my own principles now, if that
That's
makes sense.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you just grow slowly over time, and it's not being selfish or anything. It's
No,
just like
you
I
need
have my own.
to choose.
Yeah, I have my own rate. I have to stick to it, and I have my own way of working. Certain way of making contracts or whatever. Otherwise, you're not gonna grow. That's how it
Yeah.
is. Everybody has some.
You need to learn how
Um,
to say no.
yeah, yeah, that's the best thing. Actually, I say no more than I say yes.
Yeah.
That's what I do recently.
Yeah, I had to learn this when I was working with 2D because in the beginning I was accepting everything and then I started to get bored in some things
Hmm.
that I accepted and then I start to say a lot of no's, basically.
Yeah. Regarding the VFX question, someone was asking. I actually translated that in Google Translate. Is it so? The question, I guess, is my question was in the sense if there is an exchange between movies and games artists, if they talk or if they close each other, each one in their own market. I'm not sure if I understand the question. So can you translate that for me? Maybe Google Translate didn't do a good job.
Okay. Basically, he is asking if the two industries talk between each other. For example, if the industry of movies uh, talk with the industry of games, basically.
I don't know the talk. I don't know what that means, but I know. I worked on a movie. I worked in VFX. I make games now, right? I have friends who were working on movies only, and now they make games. So there's that. Like it's
Yeah,
mixed. It's
yeah.
mixed. It's the
It's
same
basically
industry. It's just
this.
a yeah. It's the same, really. It's just a little bit different in some areas, but a lighting artist for movies can work on games. A rigging artist and for games can work on movies. It's just similar. There is another question. Let me answer that question. It says, "Is there a difference between presenting the portfolio for an in-person and remote job? Something we should pay attention to and focus on presenting more." So here's what I would say: if you want to present yourself remote, make a video. Make a video introduction of yourself. No one is
Really?
doing this. I don't know why. Just sit in front of a camera or with your phone in a nice setting and just talk and explain who you are in a good way, confident. You know, don't be like shy. Don't how do I say, like, don't put yourself down. Don't feel like, oh, you don't know anything. You're doesn't matter. Professional. The point. Smart. Write it down. Repeat it, and then present it. And then if you apply for a job, just put that video and say, hey, this is me. I want to apply for this position, and here's the video. If you guys want to watch it, I explain what I do. And then maybe for your portfolio, you can just, if you really have like two or three characters or really good props for characters, or maybe one character with multiple armors, if that makes sense. Maybe you can just show that you can make a hero character and then make it customizable. You need to have really good work. And then one of the things I would say is maybe you can make another video and a PDF file explaining your workflow. What did you do? How did you make this character? What are the things you considered? Uh, what do you think about budget? How do you think you should work with rigging team? Explain everything you know as much as you know. Because when you do that, I don't know actually, nobody has done this. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't do it myself because I came up with this idea later and I didn't need it. It's been a while. I didn't apply for a job anymore. But um, I think this is a good way. Like if I receive a video from someone, I would watch that video and then I would check, okay, what is this person doing? And then if you explain in the video your workflow of your character in your portfolio, if someone doesn't want to watch a video, then you actually give them a PDF file. So I mean that's a good way to do it. Just show that you're actually serious about this. It shows that you're putting so much effort into this. You're not just like, hey, here's my resume. I'm looking for a job in the game industry. I'm so passionate. I don't care if you're passionate. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like there's like so many resumes coming to studios that they're passionate, but it's just like you gotta show that you're actually serious about this.
Yeah, this is a
You really
great
see.
idea. I never thought about it actually. And actually, I write a lot of cover letters saying that I'm passionate.
It's just so
Now I will
it's
remember
the same thing
you
over and
saying
over.
that all the time. I remember this.
To me, it's like I'm passionate about cooking. Okay, you have to eat, so you have to cook.
Oh no. Now I imagine all the hiring people reading my cover letter like this.
Yep.
There's
So
another
yeah,
question.
but here's the thing. I will say this quickly. If you want to work remote, if you have a certain income in mind, like you work, let's say you want to charge $50 an hour, don't change it because someone says, "Oh, we don't want to pay you that much." Don't be desperate. If you really need money, that's a different scenario. Like it's okay to start slow from bottom and go up, but you have to risk it at some point and try to push and uh, really have disciplines and principles for yourself, and you follow those instead of just okay, pay me whatever you want. Okay, I'll just do what you say. If you want to work remote, then it's remote. That's it. You don't change it because someone doesn't want to hire you for remote, even if it's your favorite company. You know what I mean? Again, there's like cases. You're don't take it as an advice, but this is what I would recommend. But let's say let's say you have a certain income in mind. You want, let's say, $110,000 a year, $150,000 a year. You just come up with it and you say, they ask you, how much do you want? 150,000. Okay, that's not the budget we can afford to pay you. What's your budget? You can ask those questions, but you got to negotiate. Don't accept that whatever comes your way. You know what I mean? Um, actually, there's a question that says, how much are companies willing to teach skills to new employees? Companies don't teach new skills. You got to learn it yourself. It's not a school. When you get a job, it's basically you got to work. But companies give you resources. So if you find a tutorial or a class or an art class, you can tell them. They majority of the companies actually they pay for it. If it's something that helps you to improve your knowledge, they'll do it. So
I have a question. What
yeah,
do you think it's a good introduction for a resume or
introduction.
presentation? Yeah, for getting a job, basically.
Just make a video.
No, but
That's
an introduction, for example, in your resume, there's a part that you can talk a little about yourself. In that part, I usually say that I'm a versatile artist because if the people know at my
oh,
experience, they're gonna
I'll
see
tell you
that
one
I.
thing.
Mm,
Yeah, so whatever you say in your resume, it's just marketing.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
you're saying the good thing is about yourself. So um, your work and what you do actually speaks for itself. So I think if you have a great portfolio, great example of work, and it doesn't really matter what it says in that section. I mean, you just need to. A resume should be simple, to be honest. Like when you send resumes to companies, they're not going to sit there and read everything, every word you write there letter by letter. I guarantee that. Like they're not going to check half of it, you know. So my recommendation would be make your resume small, just one page, and put as many things as you can in one page. So when someone sees that resume, they're like, okay, maybe we should hire this guy. And every you gotta adjust your resume for every job you apply for. You gotta check the job description for the company that you're applying for and see what they want. If you match that, maybe you don't have something. Maybe you they say we want someone who is good at making low-res armors. Maybe you didn't mention it in your resume that you can make low-res armors, but you're good at it, right? Then you just put it in your resume. Say I'm a good, I'm, this is what I do. I'm like skills making low-res armors. I'm good at making low-res armors. Or not, you shouldn't say I'm good at, but you can say, I don't know, certain skills or specific skills making low-res armors, if that makes sense. So you got to match your resume, but lying is not good. Like put what is true. Just try to um, match it to that specific job when you send a cover letter or resume. Make sense?
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, actually, I did a lot of mistakes doing that.
Well, everybody does that. I
Yeah.
made a lot of mistakes too. But when someone comes to me now, if they say, "Hey, um, have you seen? Well, we need a character artist or whatever," then I'm like, "Okay, what do you need?" Okay, yes, I'm available or not or whatever. Let's say if I'm available, I'll say, "Can you send me a resume?" Well, check my LinkedIn. That's my resume. It shows everything you want to see. It's in my LinkedIn. Um, at some point, you don't really need to send resumes. It's just they come to you, you get the job. Because if I can make characters, I can make characters. There's no question about that. I design pipelines for games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, if I want to see someone, let's say someone in this chat wants to apply for a company and I'm working in that company and I check your resume, all I care about is how you are as a person. So I need to know if your personality is the right person, if you're a good human being, if you're smart, if you're confident, if you understand how to work in a team environment, those kind of things that shows in your character. Other thing I want to see is, okay, so um, what do you have in your resume? I want to see if your work is good. Okay, so that's why I said when you apply, just for artists specifically, this is weird. Like in the past, I don't know how they care about what's written. I think the most important thing is what can you do, and the only way you can show me what you can do is by give me a good presentation. That's why I said make a video, present what you can do in a video, or make a PDF file and share all of the steps of what you're doing on a character. That's your resume. You know what I mean? So if I see that, I'm not gonna even read your resume, because if I can, the only thing I want to see in your resume is like how many experiences you have. Did you work for 5 companies? Okay, then you can work in a team. You didn't work for any companies, then I don't know if you're good at communication. But if your work is good enough, then I'm gonna be like, okay, let's talk to this guy. And if you're good in communication, and if you're a good person, then the work is good. You know, I can see in your PDF file or video that you explained what your pipeline is. You showed your low res, you showed your textures, you know, your Unreal Engine setup, everything. That's what that matters, you know.
Yeah,
So I mean, if
that's
you just write in
awesome.
your resume, I'm a passionate character artist and I'm good at Unreal. I'm making the best characters ever. Hire me. I'm gonna be like, okay, where's your work? Can you make something? You know?
In the past, I was like, oh, I need to get a job in EA games because I love The Sims, and a lot of games, other games that they created. So I started to writing the email saying like, I know that I'm not good enough yet at 3D, but
Mhm. Yeah.
basically saying, letting myself down, like I'm not good enough. All my projects aren't so good, I know, but
So that's a mistake, you know. You
yeah,
gotta be
it is.
confident, but confident at what you do. But if they say, okay, can you make characters in 3D? You can say, uh, you know, in a professional way. I started recently and I'm trying to improve and I need help with that. But I can do these things, and I know I have a long way to go. You know, instead of saying I'm not good at it, that means you're not confident. Then confidence is super important. If you're not confident, then you're going to lose the battle, right? But when I say confident, you shouldn't be fake confident. Confident means, how do I say, like you're good at certain things and you can do the job, but then you have issues and you can be open about it. I mean, if you need to, you know, you don't have to always say it, but you can say, okay, I don't know about this, but I'm gonna learn how to do it. Because everybody can learn, you know. But if you're like, I'm not good at it, then you're already telling yourself that you're not good at it. There's a chance that you're not gonna learn it because you're not good at it already. You know, it's not good to push yourself down like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Let me
makes
actually read.
sense.
There's a question here. It says, I said 5 minutes. We are talking because it's fun. But let's go in 5, 10 minutes again.
Okay.
It says about the salary value, at least our country, because it says the currency is more devalued than dollar. The contractor takes a bad look when a candidate ends up choosing a very low value in relation to the native candidates of their own. Is there? I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Yeah, he is asking. This is a good question, actually. We have a problem of asking low payment, and
Oh, you mean
they
you're asking for less money,
less
basically?
money because we live in Brazil, and less in USD. It's huge
It makes
payment in
sense.
Brazil. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, it makes sense. I know what you mean. And that's why companies come to freelancers to work in other countries, yeah, right? But here's the thing. Remember this. If you're really good at what you do, it doesn't matter where you live. If your skill set is unique and you can do an amazing job and you're not doing the same thing like everybody else, and you have a lot of knowledge, you can build pipelines, you're good at designing characters, you work fast, you can teach people, you know, uh, if you have different knowledges, different skills, and it's proven, and you have a good track record, then it doesn't matter where you live. You have a price. You know, do you pay less for a BMW in Brazil than US, or is it the same price? It's the same price,
Yeah, it's the same
right? Because
price.
you or Tesla, right? You're paying for the value of the car. You're paying for the quality. The quality always wins at the end. But it doesn't mean you have to always go for expensive. Just start it slow and understand that it's. I mean, if you see someone is making $2,000 a day, it doesn't mean you should charge $2,000 a day. You should work your way to that price slowly over time. Maybe you have to start with $70 a day because of value in Brazil, like you said, right? But then you get better. Then you go to 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, 500, 550, 600. It's going to take time, 10 years, 15 years. Then you go up and up and up, you know?
Yeah, but there is a
So
thing. There's some companies who reject, for example, oh, these people ask it for a low price, and it not like, for example, they don't have enough confidence if you're going to deliver the job because of the price you ask it for, basically.
yeah, if you there's actually a link between if you work too cheap also is bad, right? But also here's another thing I want to say. You got to change your work time to time. You can't work with the same company or freelance company forever because once you tell me your price is $500 a day, then I'm not gonna pay you more than that even 2 years from now, right? So the best way is to change, and you will always get more when you change. When you move to another job, when you work freelance for another company. And one of the big mistakes everybody's doing. Everybody wants to work for Sony Santa Monica. It's the greatest studio. But you know how many people want to work there? Like they don't have a staff shortage. They can hire anyone at any moment. What does that mean? It means there's a big competition, supply and demand. Okay, supply and demand. That means when there is more competition, then you have to push the price down. Okay, I'm not saying like they're paying less. I'm just using that as an example. I think they're paying well actually. That's how I feel. I don't know. Um, but it's better to when it comes to pay, it's better to find a job that you enjoy, you like, but also not to have a lot of competition.
And
Make
ask
sense?
for the right price, not ask
Yeah, for
so,
the right
yeah.
price. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to like sacrifice your financial needs because of a dream job. Because when you have financial issues, that dream job is not fun anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
something that I felt a lot when I was younger because I accepted a lot of freelance job in the beginning, but I
Mhm.
leave it alone and I couldn't able to pay all my bills, even working too much, and I still needed to pay my rent in the end. And then I started to saying no and
Mm.
accepting only the jobs that I really enjoyed
Yeah,
and pay
that's what I do.
better.
That's what I do now. I mean, I if I yeah, I mean, it's best to work with a few clients and many clients. You know, always the best.
Yeah.
So let's go if that's okay. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
it's
guys. My brain
perfect.
is tired. I was teaching today, so I don't have like
Yeah, no,
enough
no
energy to
problem.
continue. All right.
Actually, they aren't tired because we have a kind of tradition in my channel.
Uh-huh.
There is some guests who spend like 8 hours in the
Oh,
stream.
damn. That's too much.
I was like, oh my god, I need to sleep. But the guest was like talking and explain things like for 8 hours, and people were watching for 8 hours,
Yeah,
like in the
eight
middle of
hours is too
the
much.
yeah, like 3 a.m. And people still watching the stream
Maybe
basically.
I'll do that at some point. I had actually wanted to one time I wanted to do a marathon, but I was like, it's for what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like it's fun. People like that. I don't know why. Like the past guests who did 8 hours stream with me, like they really loved it.
That's crazy. 8 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
don't do that.
I was like, oh my god, I need to sleep, and the guy was happy talking.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's fun.
Siamak,
All right.
thank you so
Thank
much
you guys.
for for being here with us.
Thanks for
I
having
hope
me.
I hope in the future we can do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Later we
And
can do it
yeah, and
again.
I love this advice you gave about a job. Probably in
Oh,
the
for
future
sure.
I want to have a talk with you only about that because
For
I never
sure.
thought about a lot of stuff that you said. Basically, I did a lot of mistakes. So yeah, that's amazing.
Well, you gotta learn from your mistakes. That's fine. You didn't
Yeah.
do mistakes. You're just progressing, so it's good.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you
welcome,
so
guys.
much.
Everybody's saying thank you. Thank you very much for having me. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you guys.